Good evening, happy Saturday, and welcome to a LEGO Star Wars stream. Tonight I got something really special. I have the, well, it's a ship that when it originally was introduced was called the Slave One, but they don't call it that anymore. It's now called either Boba Fett's Starship or Jango Fett's Starship, depending on which era of the timeline and which color scheme you're looking at. In this case, for tonight, it's the Jango Fett version. Basically, Boba Fett is Jango Fett's son. They're Mandalorian bounty hunters. And after Jango Fett died, Boba Fett inherited his ship and his armor, and changed the color scheme. Let's switch over to the camera so you can take a look at this box. Here's the set. You can see it's a bigger box because it doesn't really fit on my table. Well, it fits on my table. The box doesn't fit within the camera view, though. I'm using my alternate camera today because the camera I regularly use for Lego decided it wasn't going to cooperate, and I didn't feel like dealing with technical issues tonight because we've had so many all month. I just decided let's just switch to the other camera, and the other camera, of course, cooperated. So here we are, and hopefully it looks good as it normally does, or as bad as it normally does. Or I'm just hoping that it looks about the same as it usually does, hopefully. Yeah, I gotta. I'm not the best at word choice, obviously, but before we get into the build, I want to show you one other thing, because this was actually my birthday present to myself. When I found out this was coming out in the August 1st release wave, along with a bunch of other Lego sets, I knew I wanted this one day. I wanted to get this one on day one. And I did make sure to get it on day one. And then because of all the health and technical issues I had this month, and the fact that I basically didn't stream until I did that Marathon Speed Champion stream on Monday, until then, basically, I didn't stream all month, so this set got delayed. But now that we're back into streaming, hopefully we can be regular again. And so we're going to, this will be tonight's stream. And I have plenty more Lego here in the queue to be built over the next few weeks. I'm probably going to knock out a few small sets on Monday because it's a holiday and I don't have anything going on Monday. We'll see. We'll see if I'm able to do so. But before we get into this build, before I show off the rest of this box and we get into this build, let me set this aside real quick. I want to show you the other part of my birthday present to myself, which is actually currently the most expensive item in the Star Wars portion of my Lego collection. And actually probably my second or third most expensive Lego item overall in my collection, depending on how you interpret and calculate it, whether you count post-retirement inflation, things like that, or whatever. But this is the Rancor figure. I got this about a month ago, but because it wasn't part of a set, it didn't really fit in to anything I was doing, and I didn't really get to show it off on camera. So because Jango Fett Starship was the main portion of my birthday present to myself, and this was like the other part of that, I guess it's thematically related this way. Now, the Rancor is a big deal because the Rancor is probably one of the most popular and well-known of the animals in Star Wars, having first been introduced in the original trilogy in Return of the Jedi in Jabba's palace. And since then, it has appeared in a lot of Star Wars media. They were in some notable games from the Legends era, including two of the most popular, Force Unleashed and Knights of the Old Republic, amongst others. And the Rancors have also appeared in so much other Star Wars media as well. And there was a time when in Galaxy's Edge, if you went to the lightsaber workshop and chose the nature theme, you could even get a Rancor's tooth on your lightsaber. So the Rancor is kind of a big deal to me. And in the entire 25-year history, 26 years now, of Lego Star Wars, they only did the Rancor once. So to get the authentic Rancor figure on the aftermarket, you're looking at about $150 if you want him intact with all the parts and all the claws and stuff. So this is more expensive right now than any of the ships in my collection, although that's going to change because there's as you know, I'm planning to get the as I've mentioned before, I'm planning to get the Dark Falcon to do for a Life Day stream, and that's $180 set at Lego, and even with the Target's discount, it's still about 150. So that's gonna be the most expensive ship in my collection after I get it. In my Star Wars collection, it's not my most expensive Lego set. Um, but in the Star Wars portion of my collection, the Dark Falcon. But that's a whole set, and this figure by itself is about 150. So, and that's because, like I said, it was only ever in one set, and generally for figures that come in sets, I try to get the whole set. But I didn't really feel a need to get that set. I wasn't really interested in the set as a whole. I just getting the set as a whole. I think it's like $400 for a sealed copy post inflation, and the minifigures are kind of generic and kind of yeah. So I just got the figure, and he will be appearing in one of my Lego Star Wars displays that I'm gonna be doing soon. So here's a quick 360 of the Rancor. You can see this Rancor has a chain. That's how he was in Jabba's palace. There's an even bigger Rancor that lives in what used to be Jabba's palace. That's a major plot device in the Boba Fett show on Disney Plus, in which Boba Fett comes out of retirement and becomes a good guy. So definitely a far different era than the Boba Fett we'll be seeing today. We'll be seeing Kid Boba Fett today. He grows up a bad guy, totally the most notorious bounty hunter in the galaxy for a while, and then after the Sarlacc pit gets a redemption arc. Who would have thought it before Disney took over? But anyway, there's the Rancor. We'll set him aside, and we will bring the ship back out. So this ship, when it came out, this ship first appeared in Boba's color scheme, which is red and green, in Empire Strikes Back, the middle movie of the original trilogy. And the Slave One, or Boba Fett / Jango Fett Starship, or it's also called the Firespray now. This ship has the distinction of being featured in a chase action sequence in an asteroid field in the middle movie of each trilogy. In original trilogy, of course, in Boba's color scheme of red and green, this is the Jango version from Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, which is the middle movie of the prequel trilogy, in which he chases Obi-Wan to Geonosis from Kamino. The ship looks cool in both color schemes. I've always been a little bit more partial to this one because that's a pretty shade of blue, and it foreshadows the separatist colors of the colors of the separatist army that that the Battle of Geonosis starts off the Clone Wars. So it's cool that his ship matches the army's color scheme. Funny story. Jango works for the separatists, but he's the template for the clone army, which is being built for the Republic. So there's lots of ironies there. Of course, everyone who knows Star Wars knows the story that the Chancellor was Darth Sidious, Chancellor Palpatine, and he was playing both sides in order to become Emperor. But that's a story for another day. We're just here to build Lego tonight. And there's actually 2 versions of the ship that released this year, back in May, as part of the Star Wars month releases that Lego did. They did Lego Star Wars has a series called Ultimate Collector Series, which are big display model versions of the ships. So they did a $300 version of this ship, which is like 3,000 pieces or something like that. And then there's this version of the ship, which is the $70 play scale version, which is about 700 pieces. So you can see the minifigures. It comes with Jango Fett. I've always liked the Mandalorian style minifigures. I have a few Mandalorians. I have the Mandalorian Battle Pack, I have Din Djarin, and I have a Boba Fett figure. And this will be my first Jango Fett. And then Boba as a kid. And then we have this Kaminoan character, Lama Su, the Prime Minister of Kamino. If we look at the back, it'll show us the play features. And you see this maintenance cart down here. I've seen a review. This maintenance cart actually doubles as a display stand, so you can show the ship in either of its orientations. And let's see. I didn't look at these. And it drops the seismic charges that Jango uses. And yeah, alright. So that looks like the play features. The seismic charges, the display stand. Like many Star Wars ships, this ship has two orientations, a landed mode and a flight mode. And it doesn't really transform like some of the other ships do, no moving wings or anything, but it rotates around its axis. So it lands horizontally, but flies vertically. The ship in universe has a gyroscopic cockpit that rotates with the body of the ship, but none of the Lego models have captured that feature because that's kind of mechanically advanced. So I'm opening the box. And wow, I've talked a long time. I've talked like 10 minutes. Of course, a lot of that's the Rancor. Let's get everything out. So, in terms of what's in this box, we have, of course, the numbered bags and the instructions and the sticker sheet. So, here's the sticker sheet. It's only 5 stickers. Not too bad. I think we can handle this. Here's the instruction book. You know we don't use the paper instructions on the screen, generally speaking. So I'm just going to set that aside. And let's see, how many bags are there? That's a bag 5. Bag 1 we need to hold on to. This is bag 6. So it's 6 numbered bags. 4, 3, and 2 we'll set aside. And now we just have bag 1 in front of us and a sticker sheet. And you can see in bag 1, it does come with a brick separator. So I do not need to pull out the spare at this time. Let's get the instructions on screen. We have our instruction book. You can see the ship and the figures on the cover page. And let's go ahead and start doing this. The brick separator guide, which appears in the front of the instruction manual of every set that has one, and this is telling us to open bag 1. And bag 1 starts with us putting together Kid Boba. And it looks like from the illustration he has the kid legs, which means that he'll have to stand when we put all the characters in the front of the table to watch the build. Yeah, he's got the short legs that don't bend, so yeah, he'll probably fall over a few times as we build. And I do like they got a more accurate skin tone for him this time. A serious face and a slightly confident smile. I want to give him the serious face. He's still a kid at this point. And he's a kid who's shown in some action sequences. I'll put it that way. So, and then we'll put his hair on. And there's Kid Boba. And this camera doesn't seem to be focusing as quickly as the other camera did. Why isn't it focusing? Oh well, you get the general idea. This is Kid Boba. Let's set him on the table. Let's see. Is there any point at which he does focus? Alright, it's kind of focused if you have him at a little distance, but yeah. Let's just set him on the table and alright, let's start building. The Rancor is not part of the set, that's why I don't have him watching. It was just a little something I wanted to show off because he doesn't really slot into any of my planned LEGO Star Wars streams, and I wanted to show him, so. And the Rancor is somewhat relevant if we're talking about the Fetts, because, you know, Return of the Jedi and Boba Fett was in the scenes at Jabba's palace and all that, so. It can be said that the Rancor is somewhat relevant to the characters we're talking about today. Oh, they are the two different grays. I didn't see that. Notice that at first. Okay. I'm not sure what part of the ship we're starting with here. This doesn't look like any big structural stuff, though. It does look like some kind of door mechanism going on, though, so let's see. Okay, I need to find that tile. With only 5 stickers, this ship is a non-issue when it comes to applying stickers. Definitely one of the easier sticker sheets I've seen. We've seen a lot of sticker sheets on this channel working with LEGO. And we'll be seeing a lot more over the coming months and years. Okay, we want to make sure we're positioning the slopes facing the correct direction, which I think is that. Yeah, that's how it lines up in the picture. And this is a bit awkward to hold because this door keeps wanting to fall. So based on the shaping, I think we're starting with like the bottom portion of the ship here. Yeah, because that would be the ramp there, I would assume. That's either the ramp or the bomb drop. Yeah, hi Nate. Yeah, Disney doesn't call it the Slave One anymore. Which, to be fair, times are different than they were when Empire Strikes Back first came out. But it's also called the Firespray, but the Firespray is a less well-known name for it. And the Lego doesn't acknowledge the Firespray name. Actually, these bits here hold the little trapdoor bit in place, it looks like. I'm still not sure if that's the ramp or if it's the bomb drop. We'll have to build up more of the ship to see for sure. Okay, yeah. I can start to see how this is going to turn into the shape. I'm still not sure exactly where on the ship we are, though. I'm looking at the picture, and I think this is that very bottom level of the ship that we're working on. Most of the bigger Star Wars ships have some Technic structure going on, but I don't see any Technic pieces in this parts pile. Oh, and I forgot to separate the brick separator that was in the bag, so there it is. I'm sure once we get to the main body of the ship, we will start to see some Technic structure put in, but right now we don't. Okay, I can see what this is doing now. I can match this up to a portion of the ship from the picture now. So yeah, this is going to be the bottom layer of the ship. I recognize the shaping from part. Although, given the shaping, this may not be the bottom, but the back side. We just have to keep building. Because this is a ship that lands in one orientation and flies in another. So, I'm probably still partially wrong about things. And this looks like, well, it does look like the picture of the bottom of the ship, though. Let me just keep building. It will reveal its portion of the ship in time. These two little bits are connected by a single stud each right now. They had us turn the ship upside down before those bits were secured. So of course they were going to go flying. No pun intended. And then we have these, what look like the top of hinge joints here. So it'll be interesting to see what those hinge bits are used for. And then we get a plate there. And then we have some more little hinge bits going on here. It'll be interesting to see how this whole section starts to develop. But these two hinge squares here are actually securing these bits that or they're partially securing these bits that because they're squares and they go into onto these bits that we've attached. So yay for that, I guess. And these little side bits aren't going to be falling off while I work on this underside anymore. So yeah, we're reinforcing structure right now. That's always a good thing with Lego, is making the structure stronger. Sometimes I ramble a bit. Um, it helps me focus sometimes. Interesting. So we're definitely filling in some layering right now on what is either the bottom or the back of the ship. Well, the bottom of the ship would be the back of the ship, wouldn't it? Because in landing mode, it rotates from its flight mode. So the bottom of the ship is the back of the ship in this case. Let's see, how does that line up? I think it lines up there. There's actually two versions of the ship, Nate. There is a $300 bigger version, which only comes with 2 figures, and then the $70 play version, which comes with 3, which is the one we're actually doing. Okay, what's it doing here? Oh, we need to make 2 of these little bits. That's why the picture wasn't matching up to me. Right now we're doing a lot of upside down building, which I guess is thematically appropriate considering how the ship's rotation between landing and flying. So yeah, before we came to the underside, that little door bit was flopping around. Now it's not. You can still easily press it down though, so you can still easily press down the little door bit in the bottom there. Okay, we're still... Okay, so this is, in fact, the back of the ship. As I had predicted. Because these are the iconic thruster bits that look like big eyes. It's funny, because these are the main visible engines of the Firespray / Slave 1 / You get the point, but... Usually the engines are the last thing you put in on a Star Wars ship, but because of this ship's unusual orientation, it's one of the first surface details that gets put on. So that's a cool distinction with this ship, I guess. And putting these bits on really does allow us to press these plates secure. And now this bit of the structure is very stable and not going to fall apart on us while we build anymore. We have some more of these hinged pieces. I think they're using the hinge joints as like greebling. I don't think we're going to connect actual hinge bases to these hinge plates here. We'll see how the build goes, of course. Alright, we finally get to go back topside. We're almost through bag 1. And then once we finish bag 1, we'll be able to start bag 2. And these are some trans yellow pieces. Okay. Yeah, so we've got a nice start going with the shape of the base of the ship here. This is starting to look, well, it's starting to give hints of what it's supposed to be. Obviously, there's still a long way to go. And then this gives us bag 2, and bag 2 says to start by building Jango. Where did I put my, there they are. So yeah, after bag 1, we have the most of the base, most of the back end of the ship. So basically the front end of the base from land-in mode. You can see those the ship's what's the word I'm looking for? The ship's distinctive thrusters that look like big eyes on the back there. Let's open bag 2 and continue this build. And I'm starting to see a few Technic pieces in this bag, which means we're probably going to start building the structure for the main portion of the ship's body. Okay, so Jango Fett, and he looks good. At least from the picture, I gotta put him together. Yeah. Confident, neutral, almost smiley face, or the angry, determined action face. This guy's about as villain as they get. But hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself here. I forgot we have to put on his jetpack first. There we go. And his face doesn't really matter because he gets a helmet, but... And then the helmet's supposed to have this... The helmet's supposed to have this little antenna thing attached to it, so this figure I actually got to show twice real quick. Let me just see here. Yeah, there's another step to him. So he also gets blasters. So he has a choice between a hairpiece or his helmet. Obviously, we're going to put him in the helmet, but... And he actually dual wields blasters sometimes. So I'm going to give him both the one he's shown within the instructions and the spare one for his offhand there. So there's what Jango looks like with the helmet off. And again, the camera doesn't want to focus, but... And then, if we take off his hair, we can put his helmet on and complete his look. Like this. He dies by being beheaded by Jedi Master Mace Windu at the Battle of Geonosis during the movie Attack of the Clones. So, yeah, let's just take another moment before we move on and just admire this minifigure. Because Mandalorians are so cool, and Jango's got a cool look. Alright. Let's keep it going. Okay, we're going to begin an assembly now, so I'll take this little bit and set it to the side over here until we need it again. That way we can focus on doing the assembly here. Based on the inset picture, it looks like this assembly is going to be the rest of the base. Okay, this one goes here. And then we get this one here. I'm guessing the door bit on the base that we did is actually going to be the ramp. Because that's like right at the front of the ship. Because it looks like this section is going to have like a little gap in it. So this is probably where the bombs are going to go. That's a guess. Obviously, I don't know for sure yet. I think it's interesting that the cheaper version of the ship is the one that comes with more figures. But then again, the other set is meant for display, and this one's meant for play. So you would want to have more characters with this version. Plus, it's cool getting Lama Su, the Kaminoan Prime Minister, who has never appeared in minifigure form before. The other major Kaminoan character who's introduced in Attack of the Clones is Taun Wei, the leader of the cloning program on Kamino. And her minifigure is actually, she does have a minifigure too in, I think the Obi-Wan's Jedi Starfighter, which came out a couple of years ago. I don't have that set yet. And already we're starting with the sticker sheet, so, but it looks like these are going to be visible in the same shot, so let me get these two pieces on first, and then I will do the stickers so I can make sure they line up. And then we'll be 40% done with the sticker sheet already after that. So we want the number 2 and the number 4. At least this isn't like Speed Champions. There's only 5 stickers total. And we've already done 40% of the sticker sheet. And we're not even a third into the build yet. We'll be a third of the way through the build after this bag, so still I can afford to take a little time on these stickers to make sure that they look good opposite each other. Yeah, I think I got that pretty symmetrical. Those are those little stickers we just put on. Some detailing for this end of the ship. And of course this camera's not focusing. Well, we gotta move on. Oh, and already we're using 2 more of the stickers, which means there will only be 1 sticker left after this. Now these 2 pieces are not going to be visible at the same time, so I'm going to go ahead and put the stickers on before I put them on. Just which way are the stickers lined up? Wow, the contrast. It's hard to see from the instructions, but I think I got this. And if I couldn't see the sticker clearly in the instructions, this is a very darkly printed detail against a very darkly printed background, so there's no way you'll be able to see this detail either. But it's just adding a little texture to the surface of the ship, I guess. But these are opposite each other. They're not going to appear in the same shot. So you can see there's a sticker there giving it a little bit of texture on the surface there. I think Monday will be another kind of a Monday or Tuesday depending on when I can next stream. I'm hoping for Monday, but it might be Tuesday. I'm gonna do kind of a Lego variety stream. I got I got like 3 or 4 smaller sets of a variety of different themes that don't really go with any of my other stream plans. So we'll probably just kind of do a Lego variety show in order to get more of my build queue together. And then next weekend we'll probably pick up with the Lego Mario again, because I still have several Lego Mario streams in my queue. So that's all that's left of the sticker sheet. We're less than a fifth into the instruction book in terms of page count in the instruction book. We're less than a third into the build overall. We just have the 1 sticker left. I'm glad that the set had us put the stickers out early. It means that most of the build we don't have to worry about them. I wonder if all these hinge tips we're seeing on the back of the vehicle, I wonder if these are greebling rather than meant to be actual hinges. Okay, yeah, so this rounds out the shape for the base / back of the ship. So this attaches on like this. Obviously that's not secure yet. We're going to add a few more stud connection points. That should hopefully secure. Like I was saying, hopefully secure it a bit more. But clearly we're not at the security points yet. Okay, that's a... Well, let's not tempt fate. We have another little assembly to do, and it looks like this one is going to be based in some Technic. But yeah, the back of the ship is pretty much all there. Looks like a droid's face a little bit. So now it looks like we're going to start building the Technic framework that will allow us to eventually attach the main portion of the ship. Let's try that again. This time. There we go. So yeah, my fleet of Star Wars Lego Star Wars ships is beginning to really grow now. In terms of smaller ships, we have Mandalorian's N1 Starfighter. We have the Arc 170. We have the U-wing. Bigger ships, we have the Resistance Transport and the Onyx Cinder. We'll be getting the Dark Falcon here in a couple months for Life Day. And so yeah, our fleet is growing. Plus, we have an assortment of ground vehicles, including speeders, some small walkers. Uh, we'll be getting some other ground vehicles soon as well. So yeah, we're definitely doing a lot of Technic here. It'll be interesting to see. I think this Technic is going to be part of the it's going to be part of the attachment for the top section, I think, but I'm not really 100% sure. We'll just have to see how this frame progresses. Do I have any TIE fighters? Not yet, but there's a few TIEs that are on my short list of things I want to get. There's a retired red TIE Interceptor from the sequel trilogy era, I believe. I'm gonna try and get that one off of eBay in the next couple months because it's retired. Yeah, I think that's it. I think it's called Von Reg or something like that. So yeah, there's that one. There's a bunch of other TIE fighters that would be interesting to get. There's the X-Wing TIE Fighter mashup set with the McDonald's astromech in it. Well, it's not really McDonald's, of course. It's just that a lot of Lego Star Wars fans call it the McDonald's droid because of its colors. So yeah, the X-Wing TIE Fighter mashup I want to try and get. There's a few other TIEs. It's from Rebuild the Galaxy last year, that cartoon parody that they made. It's the same series that Dark Falcon and Jedi Bob Starfighter are from. I actually have Jedi Bob Starfighter in the build queue, and there's going to be a sequel. There's going to be a Rebuild the Galaxy sequel coming out in a couple weeks, and they released one set for that, which is a fire-themed snowspeeder. So yeah, if I can get the X-Wing versus TIE Fighter set, in addition to the Dark Falcon, then I'll have the full collection of the Rebuild the Galaxy sets. I don't have the X-Wing TIE Fighter mashup yet, and Dark Falcon's big enough it needs to be its own stream. But I do have the Fire Snowspeeder and the Jedi Bob Starfighter, and I'll probably pair them together during the release week of the sequel, which is coming out on Disney Plus in a couple weeks. So there's some framework going on. Okay, and this bit rotates. Is this the bomb chute, maybe? This might be the bomb chute here. Oh, I forgot a piece. Because of course I did. That's alright. Glad I caught it before it became a problem. There we go. Now we attach these bits. Now we want to make sure we're attaching everything at the correct ends here. So these little bits attach here. Okay, so this section all goes on to here. So I see what's going on here. So what we have going on here is that this part of the Technic here is going to be the bomb chute, it looks like. Because this opens towards the back here. This opens down like that. And then this bit of the Technic framework here, and I didn't push this in all the way. Now it's secure. This bit of the Technic framework here is where the upper portion of the ship's body is going to attach. And it looks like we're ready to move on to bag 3. Oh, we have an extra blaster here. Should we give Kid Boba a blaster? Doesn't really seem appropriate for a kid to have a weapon, but this is the son of the most notorious bounty hunter in the galaxy, and he will develop his own career as a notorious bounty hunter, so yeah, he can have a gun. Let's say it's a training gun. Because you know in Attack the Clones, they show that shot of the clones as kids, and they're in that training simulation, so yeah. The kids on Kamino, they do get to play with weapons as part of their training, so I guess Boba can keep the spare blaster. We're gonna go into... So yeah, this ship is really starting to take shape now. My guess is bag 3, 4, and 5 are the upper portion of the ship, and then bag 6, I'm gonna guess, is gonna be the little maintenance cart and display stand section. That's my prediction. The ship does look like it's going to have a little bit of size. It's comparable in size to some of the other Starfighter builds. It's not quite as big as the transports that we've got, but there's a reason those are $100 plus sets, almost $150 sets, and these Starfighter sets are half that price. So we're going to start with this long red axle piece here. And I'm supposed to press it in here. So maybe this middle section isn't supposed to flex. Although... Oh no, the axle goes over the section. So that... Okay, so that prevents you from pushing it into the ship. So it can only be pushed out towards the bottom like that. Okay, I see what it's doing. And then we take the other side. We need to find another one of those gray pieces to secure that axle. Okay. So yeah, this little Technic, this little Technic drop bit only goes down now. That axle stops it. And now we're going to do another assembly here. I need to look up the release date for Rebuild the Galaxy 2 so I can make sure I do my Jedi Bob and Fire Speeder the same week. Even though it's overpriced, I am planning to get that new Clone Trooper Battle Pack And I'm gonna also get the other Clone Trooper battle pack from last year, so I can set up a Clone Wars battle scene. I did do the 501st battle packs on a previous stream if you want to check my YouTube channel. Okay. We just passed the 1 hour mark of stream. Of course, I talked for about 15 minutes at the beginning, so we're actually making good time on this. Okay. So now it looks like we got to do an assembly for the assembly here. Interesting. Okay, the axle's supposed to be even though, so did I just mess this whole thing up? It doesn't want to push in any. So let's push everything else down. Let me, give me a moment. I need to adjust this axle. It's supposed to be flush with these bits at the ends. Almost. I need like another little millimeter. And okay, I think that's flush. Oh, when we were talking about starfighters earlier, I do have the juniorized Poe Dameron X-Wing that they did a couple years ago. It's so simplistic of a build. I don't really count it, but I guess it counts. It was my first Lego Star Wars set in this collection, so that counts for something, I guess. Okay, what piece is that? Shoot. How's it oriented here? Okay, interesting. I hope I have that oriented correctly. I know. I do not. I had this section facing the wrong way. So, it's time to use the brick separator, push out this axle, and flip this around the correct orientation. If it'll let me take it off the assembly here. Yeah, there we go. So it's supposed to be facing. Did I mess everything up? No, I don't think so. I'm not the best when it comes to Technic, obviously. So that's that. And then this piece goes like this. So we want to okay, so this we want it to go into here, and this piece is supposed to go into there like that, and now we can push the axle back through, and now that piece is correct. And now we have to do another one of those for the other side. We need one more spacer. And then we need the other bit. And we need little red axle. So that goes on there like that. The axle goes through, and that little bit is assembled. And now this Technic section, it goes across the middle like this. Four studs in. Yeah, that's 4 studs in. So that's setting up some framework, and yeah, that's where the little rotating panels are going to attach later on in the build. Let's keep going. We are, I think, since this bag represents the halfway bag, we are going to take a break when we finish this bag, I think. should be the only break we need for the whole stream. Because there's only 3 bags left after this one. But I do need to stretch, and I am getting thirsty, so I need to take care of that. This is one of the more interestingly shaped ships in the Star Wars galaxy, so it's pretty fun seeing this one come together in Lego form. I probably will get one of the Boba versions at some point in the future, just to have it in both colors. But for right now, that's not a priority. Not when there's so many other different ships that I want to get added into my collection. Apparently, we're supposed to get some kind of Christmas-themed Imperial ship in the holiday releases. It'll be interesting to see if that actually happens. Because if it does, I'm probably right there for it. Okay, what's not lining up properly here? How did I do it on this side? I need to see what I did over here. Oh, that's why it's not working. Because I took the wrong piece. These pieces are mirrors of each other. And I picked one that was facing the same way from the parts pile. There we go. Those bits are on. Now we can keep going. So now we're filling in some more of the shaping around the base. So it looks like bag 3 is going to be finishing up the base section. And then bag 4 and 5, I would assume, would be the upper section at this point. I'm still going to maintain my prediction of bag 6 being the maintenance cart that functions as the display stand. I do like that feature. Because most of the time when LEGO makes display stands, the display stand is useless when oh, I see what it's doing. Okay. The display stand is useless if you're not using it. But in this set, they made it a nice little accessory that would make sense in the Kaminoan facility. So now we're closing in what I assumed was the bomb chute, and it doesn't look like the bombs actually have any space to be in there. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Okay, so, yeah. So yeah, this bag is definitely working on finishing out the base here. Okay, well, that doesn't actually connect to anything. Okay, now I'm really confused about what everything's meant to be here. Oh! Okay, so this bit at the back that I thought was the bomb chute, I think it's meant to be a play handle, because there's no space in there to put the bombs. And then, well, this little bit here that doesn't connect to anything, it'll be secured into place. This will be the actual ramp, and this here will be the bombs, maybe? Let's just keep building and see how it all comes together, because that's my guesses as of now. This bit is on tiles. It doesn't actually connect. So clearly that's meant to be some kind of motion feature in the, or moving piece in the model. Let's just see how it all comes together. Okay, what's this doing? Okay, so this bit comes off here. This pin goes into here. So yeah, it looks like we're going to be building the upper portion of the ship off of that. I say upper when the ship is flying. That means it's actually the front of the ship. Again, the ship does weird mechanics. Okay, and then this one goes here. And then we have another little assembly going on here. What piece is that? Okay, so that's a big dark gray piece. Curved slope. That was buried by other pieces. Got it. Oof. Yeah, we're definitely going to need to take a very quick break. Okay. Did I miss a piece getting added? Yes, I did. Okay. It's this piece. Okay, so this piece actually lifts up, so... Okay. Let's keep going so we can figure out how all this works. Because we're starting to see some of the play features come together. I'm just not sure what goes to what yet. So right now we're building up surface level shaping and detailing here. Okay, Yeah, sometimes when I stop talking, that just means I'm concentrating on what I'm doing with the Lego, and I've run out of stuff to talk about. And I find that when I'm not talking, I actually tend to build a little bit faster than when I am talking. So yeah, we're just filling in shaping and detailing here. So yeah, when we finish this bag, the base of the ship will basically be together, and then we just have to build the front end of the ship, um, which is the top side when it's actually in landed mode. Okay, so now we're basically filling in the shaping for the other side of the section of the ship now. Even though it looks kind of small, this ship does already have some serious weight to it. The ship does feel bulky. It is, after all, a little bit more substantial than your basic starfighter in universe. It's got cargo area because, well, it is a bounty hunter ship, so there needs to be room for the bounty to be stored. Obviously not on the Lego model. There's not much interior on the Lego Star Wars ships. But in universe, it's got to be big enough to have. Although it's not that big in... Let's make sure I'm placing these detail bits correctly. Bounty hunter ships are typically, basically, the next size up from starfighters in universe, because they need to have cargo space. But they don't need a terribly huge amount of cargo space most of the time. So they're the size class between, say, starfighters and, say, something like the Falcon or the Tantive. They're not as big as the Falcon or the Tantive. There's a few bounty hunters which are notorious for having some really big ships, but... We're almost done with bag 3 now. And then it'll be break time. And we'll make the break as quick as possible. Alright, so this is where it says to start bag 4, so let's go ahead and take a quick break. And I just pushed the table in such a way that the characters were off the camera, so. You know what? So yeah, this is what the landed bottom or flying back end of the ship looks like. We've got it all filled in now. When we come back, we're going to build the front section, the upper section. And then we will, since we're taking a break, to add a little more visual interest, because the ship isn't much to look at yet, you can have the Rancor back too. And you can look at him for a few more minutes while I take my quick break. And when we come back, we will finish building the ship. We're about an hour and a half into stream, about halfway through the instructions. If you factor in break time and talking time, I estimate that this is a 2.5-hour build, but stream itself is probably going to hit the 3-hour mark, is my estimation. Anyway, I'll see you in a few minutes. Okay, I'm back, so let's get right back into it. The first thing we have to do, of course, is take the Rancor back off the screen. And then we have to bring the instructions back up. And then we have to open bag 4. And we'll be right back on our way. Okay. Let's get right into it. So yeah, we're starting to build up around this Technic bit now, so okay, there it is. And then we need that piece. Do we have a buried piece? Because I'm not seeing it in this parts pile. There it is. And then we have this bracket here. And then we have this funky little thing. And it's using one of those opalescent crystal pieces, which I'm assuming is some kind of surface light. Anyways, here's the opalescent crystal piece. Obviously the camera's not focusing on it, but it shines just a little bit differently than the transparents do and makes a really cool effect. And now it's assembly time. So it looks like we're starting with the foundational bit for the upper portion, or the front portion, however you want to call it. Most ships, most ships with transformative features, if their landing mode and their flight mode are different, it's a matter of rotating wings or rotating engines or something simple like that. But the ship itself mainly stays facing the same way. With this ship, it lands horizontal but flies vertical. Its flight mode is a totally different orientation from its landing mode, which makes this ship a little bit different than most of the ships that have transformative features with their landing. Where is that piece? There's a piece that doesn't appear to be in my parts pile. Let me check the bag real quick. Nothing in the bags. It must be buried in the parts pile like that other piece was then. Let me see. It must be hiding under another piece. And if I don't see it this pass, it looks like a surface detail. So we're just going to go... There it is. Found it. It was hiding under something. So now I guess we're building up the structure and foundation for this other section. I said that already. I guess I really have run out of things to talk about for a while. So yeah, it looks like Star Wars live action is taking a break. Now that Andor is over and Ahsoka doesn't come out till late next year, this will be the longest Disney Plus has gone without a live action Star Wars show. Over a year. This is the first time they've gone over a year between live action shows. That makes me a little sad because I know some of the shows have been controversial and not some of them not well liked by fans, but I happen to like all the live action stuff that that right? Yeah, there is some subtle asymmetry going on that I never even noticed before. Okay. Should be one more of those. There. And now we actually attach this thing. Okay. Okay. Give me a moment because this requires some precision placement here. Okay, so and we have a spammer. Let's see if it lets me remove the spammer. Give me a moment. And the spammer is banned. Okay. Ignore the message that says I modded them because I unmodded them and then banned them. It's the first time I figured out how to actually ban a spammer, so that's why I accidentally clicked mod, so. Okay. So that little bit that I thought was a light, it really looks like it's just kind of a buffer piece or stopper or something. But yeah, we now have the framework in place for the front/upper section. So I guess the rest of this bag is about filling in the surface details for this section. Okay, this goes how? Okay, it has us put it here. Okay. Wow, that's actually a pretty sturdy connection, even not being all cased up. I can pick it up from here and it doesn't feel like it's got loose or anything, even though the other section has so much more weight. And I had that section of the ship off camera. Sorry about that. Oh, that's why it feels loose, because it's only connected by one stud right now. Okay. And now it's time for the other sticker, but because this is one that needs to be centered, I want to put the piece on first. This needs to be roughly centered. And it's okay if it's not perfect, but it needs to be close enough to look good. But once we get this sticker on, and this sticker is being applied to a curved surface, which makes it that much more difficult to align properly. But once this sticker is fully on, there's no more stickers for the set after this. Doesn't look like the box render, the sticker was perfectly straight either, so. But I want it to look good, so. There we go. There's that sticker we just put on. And you can see also how the framework has been surrounded by brackets on all sides, as well as the curved shaping for the middle section there. So here's the empty sticker sheet. You know what we do with these. And let's move on. We just hit the 2-hour mark of stream, so I think we're on target to finish by around. It doesn't matter. So now we're filling in a little more shaping and surfacing. Okay, so this goes here. And then this goes here. No, it does not go on the floor, but it fell where I can reach it without having to get up. So there's that. Okay, so basically what we're doing is we're covering up the places where the internal structure is non-symmetric. Okay. It looks like we're setting up the outline of the little cockpit section now, it looks like. And then bag 5 will be surfacing for all those brackets. And then bag 6, I think, will be our little maintenance cart display stand. Did I not put the instructions back on? I'm sorry. Yeah, I took the instructions off so that I could go in and figure out how to ban that spammer, but I forgot to put them back on afterwards, but it's all fixed now. Yeah, I forgot a piece off of this one. Let's see if I can get my finger into there and do this without having to take the whole section out. Yeah, somehow I managed to get that little piece in that I forgot to put on without having to take the whole section off. And bag 5 time. And bag 5 will give us our third and final character for the set, Lama Su, the Kaminoan Prime Minister. And the ship has most of its shape at this point. We've just got to build the last little bit of this whole upper area. Front area once flying, of course. Okay, let's begin. Starting with, oh, and I do see some stud shooters in this parts pile. So yes, this ship is, well, of course, a bounty hunter ship would be heavily armed, but most Star Wars ships have some kind of weapons going on. Okay, well, that's cool. This is Lama Su, the Kaminoan Prime Minister. Probably one of the most unique of my Star Wars minifigures. Probably one of the most unique minifigures I have overall in my Lego collection. This is a beautiful representation of the Kaminoan species. And he can even turn his head, so it does have the head possibility that most minifigures have. Often with the specially molded heads, you can't turn the head, but okay, let's get on with bag 5. So yeah, in bag 5, it looks like we'll be doing the surface detailing for this upper section. Oh, that's cool how it lines up with the other angle. Okay. So yeah, this assembly is going to cover most of one of the sides, it looks like. And our first stud shooter assembly here. Except in this set, it looks like they're using the tiles, which means I can't exactly make easy weapon stacks. Okay, I did that trigger correctly. Obviously, I'm not arming the stud shooters once I do that initial test. Here's another stud shooter. Gotta put a little trigger into this one. Test to make sure I assembled it correctly. and it will never be fired again. And then this double shooter assembly will go on like this. Okay, that goes there. Okay, yeah, I'm trying to concentrate because there's a lot of little pieces that have to go in a precise order right now in order to make up the side detailing that we have going on. You'll get to see it when I turn the ship around to work the other side. Okay, where is that piece? That's the... not there it is. Okay. Yeah, sorry I'm not talking much. I'm just concentrating right now. So actually these tiles are meant to be part of the actual build. So maybe we get studs in the next bag for the stud shooters. Oh, cool. All right. So now we're really starting to get the iconic look together on this side. Of course, you'll get to see all this when I spin the thing around to do the other side. Okay. And now I turn the whole ship around and you can see all the side detailing that I just spent the last few minutes doing. And I get to do all that same stuff again on this other side. So yeah, I know it's not, I know I have the action pointed away from the camera right now, but as the builder, I need to be able to see what I'm working on. So that's the thing that's going to happen during LEGO streams. We're just under the 2.5 hour mark. And once I finish this side of the ship, we'll be going into the last bag. And now for another round of stud shooter assemblies here. Okay. The stud shooters are operational, but unloaded. now the weapon assemblies are symmetric. Something just fell off. Let me see. Anywhere where it obviously came down from. That may just be a thing that got knocked off the table. Let's hope. Let me go back a bit and make sure it's not something that actually fell off. No, it's not matching up with any part of the design over here. I think we're good to go on. I think of the three names of this ship, Fett Starship, Slave One, and Firespray, I think my favorite of the three names is Firespray. Um, but it's also the least known of the three names. No, that's supposed to be a tile, not a plate. I need to make sure that these two pieces go in correctly. So there's that one. And then there's this one. And then one of these. Okay, that's in. So this goes in here. And actually, pressing that in revealed that other sections weren't pressed in all the way. And now, this bit feels even sturdier than it did before. It's good to know that things are actually pressed in all the way now. We're almost done with bag 5. So bag 6, I guess, will be the rest of the cockpit area, the little wing bits, and I guess the maintenance cart. Star Wars is full of unique Starship designs. And it's cool to see the ships that are similar to each other but also different. So you can see how general shapes evolve over time throughout the 3 eras in the established timeline. Yeah, this is very secure. That internal framework, I can pick it up by here without any issue. Anyway, so that section is now on. Oh boy. But then this little piece popped out, and I can't really get my finger in there. This is where it needs to be, is over here. Okay, I think I fixed that. Hopefully that piece won't pop out again. It feels like it's in there now. And now we have another little assembly. Excuse me. And I was thinking about doing a little bonus build today, but I don't really think I'm feeling it. It's starting to get late, and I was tired most of the day, so we're going to leave it after this ship. This ship had some really unique building techniques that you don't really see on other ships because of this ship's unique design. This ship isn't quite like anything else that I've ever seen in Star Wars, making it kind of unique in the galaxy in terms of Starship designs. Oh, it's not the only weird ship out there in Star Wars. It's just the only one that's in this general shape. I have a couple special game streams planned for the next couple weeks in addition to the Lego stuff. We'll see if I actually get to them. There's also a karaoke stream I've been wanting to do, but, well, not karaoke, but singing. And, well, I guess singing would be karaoke. So yeah, we do have, I do have several streams that I'm planning. With and without Lego, so. this section goes in here like this. Okay, so this piece did fall off from somewhere. That's already been completed. Give me a few moments to flip through the instructions and see if I can't figure out where this piece fell out from, because it didn't look like it fell off the surface. Excuse me a few moments. I'm just trying to figure out where this piece fell off from. The ship is pretty much there at this point. But I need to know where that piece goes before I can continue. Meanwhile, these pieces we know. We'll start bag 6 in a moment. Okay, so it was this bit here. Okay, I think I see where the bit fell off from. Yeah. Let's see if I can get my finger in there to get this piece back into place. It's in a spot that's a little bit smaller than my finger, but yeah. And this time I actually made sure it's pressed in all the way. So yeah, you can hold it from this section here. The whole thing is sturdy, it's not coming apart. And there's no hint of the Technic that's holding it all together inside. We've completely erased that evidence. So now we can move on to bag 6. Clearly, we're not quite done with the ship because we have the cockpit that needs to be finished, and we have the little rotating side wings that need to be added. And then, of course, there's the display stand. I think I dropped the trash as well. Yeah, there it is. Okay, let's get right into it. Yeah. Yeah, no bonus builds tonight. We're ending stream after this. The bonus build that I was considering doing tonight, I'll just do as part of my variety stream that I'm doing this week. Even if I add to that stream is still under 1,000 pieces. So it should be okay to do that. So basically what the variety stream is, it's like 4 sets I have that don't really go with any of my other themes. But together it'll be a nice little end of summer Lego stream. I've done multi-set streams before. Just not that varied of a theme. My previous multi-set streams have basically been sticking to a theme, so it'll be an interesting stream. I can't remember if I've done any true variety streams before or not. I guess you could count the minifigure stream I did about a year ago, where I did a bunch of CMFs, battle packs, blister packs, a couple polybags. So yeah, it looks like we're building the side wing assemblies right now. It would help if I positioned this correctly. Interesting. Yeah. This is the last bag we're in, so we will be done soon. And I don't think I'm going to pose the figures in the cockpit, though they have designed it so you can put both of the Fetts in the cockpit together, which is a cool touch. But again, I don't think I'm going to take the time to do that because I like having everything easy to see. Maybe not easy to see, but I like having everything visible in the final display when I raid out. So I have no idea who's on right tonight because I haven't checked it all. I'll check at the end. I'll check after we finish the build. I really want to get more of this build queue in front of me done by the end of August, but I won't be able to stream tomorrow night. We have a family birthday dinner, so and this is the most important person in our family, so I'm not going to be home tomorrow night. Okay, so we have our first of the little side wings. And now we have to do the one for the other side. Usually when I raid, I do a musician, but it's Saturday, so we'll see if friend of the channel is on tonight. And if he's not, then we'll find a musician. Because I normally raid music. Or we could do something even differently, but that involves effort, and actually go into the Twitch search and see if anyone else is streaming Lego. I may do that one of these Lego streams just to see what that's like, but tonight I just want to raid somebody who's already in my follow list. So we'll see who's there when I finish building this. Oh, I can see here some more trans tiles. So those are probably for the stud shooter. And I can see, yeah, the bits that are going to make up the bombs. So we'll learn soon enough how all that works. But first I got to finish this second wing. Oof. It's interesting how Jango was involved with both sides of the Clone Wars, but he didn't actually live to see the Clone Wars because he was killed in the first battle of it. Yeah. This set was the one when I saw in July the August release wave. This was the one I said I need to have this day one. I went out of my way to make sure I got it day one. I placed a Target same day order first thing when I woke up that morning. And then because of the health and technical issues that have been plaguing my stream and forcing me to take an unplanned hiatus all month, here we are with the month over and I'm finally building it. The reason it wasn't my first Lego stream back, even though it was a first day must have set for me, is because I knew by getting the Speed Champions done, I'd be getting done a bigger chunk of my build queue, which was a priority because of I was overflowing the shelf. I have a lot more stuff coming it starting next month, so. And with this part together, I can now come on the ship and attach it to this side here. And we'll push it in. And you can see that the structure goes all the way through. The structure goes all the way through, and these wings rotate together. You turn one, and they both turn. So I think they're supposed to be horizontal when you're in flight mode, and then they turn flat for landing mode. Okay, what's next? And then we add this little cockpit. We add the canopy to the front of the ship like this, and it closes down over the cockpit. Okay, so now we're going over the maintenance cart. So before I start setting that up, I just want to, even though I said we weren't going to do this, I just want to see how the two characters sit inside so I know how to do it for later. So, I've heard you got to take the blasters out, so let's take the blasters out. So Boba stands in the back, and there's nothing holding him in. To hold him in, you put Jango up front here on this stud, and he just... Oh, you're supposed to put him seated. I forgot that bit. So you seat him on these studs up here. He holds Boba in place, and he actually is supposed to fit in place with his jetpack. So you put them in like that. You can see Kid Boba behind Jango like that, and then you should be able to press this close. And yeah, it closes all the way, and you can get both figures inside the cockpit together. But it's a tinted window and you can't see them, so let's pull them back out. We'll give them back the guns, and we will continue by building the maintenance cart here. So the ship is officially done. We just have to do the maintenance cart display stand now. And actually, I'm going to take it off screen for a little bit, so we can focus on this build. So your stream will be a few minutes over 3 hours. We're at 2:54 right now. Actually, just about 2:55. Obviously, we have to finish building this cart. We gotta see how all the different features work, and then we gotta pick a raid. So we'll be on for a few more minutes. We'll be just over the 3-hour mark. When you consider the break was about 5 minutes and the talking time at the beginning was about 15, that comes out to a little over, and then the time I spent flipping through the manual trying to figure out where the piece that fell off went, and the 2 floor dives I did. Build time would have been a little bit over 2.5 hours, and I just dropped another piece, but I saw where it went. Okay, I need to find one more. There it is. There's a lot of LEGO streams planned across a lot of themes. Although apparently, I read somewhere that apparently LEGO Mario is skipping the January wave next year. So I should have some time to get caught up with that finally. I'll also be adding to the Jurassic collection. I'll be doing the Animal Crossing series, amongst many other things coming up in the next couple months. I have 2 special streams planned for Halloween. We're going to do another haunted house, and we're going to do something else. And I have some Disney streams planned as well. So yeah, this section is coming together quickly. Which is a good thing because I'm getting tired. It's even got little control sticks. So I'm guessing these transparent round tiles on the bottom are meant to give it kind of a hovercraft repulsor lift kind of feel. Yeah, because it's smooth. It glidely smooths across my table like this. Did I say it glidely smooths? I meant it smoothly glides, of course. Words. Haven't been the best with words lately. So yeah, my next Lego stream is going to be the the end of summer variety to work through the build queue, and then we'll be doing Mario until I make the other acquisitions. I think that's how we'll do it. Of course, in a few weeks, when the Rebuild the Galaxy sequel comes out, we will do the we will do my 2 Rebuild the Galaxy sets, and the big Rebuild the Galaxy set, the Dark Falcon, we'll do probably for Life Day in a couple months. Okay, so this section clips onto here like this. I wonder if you can actually put the stud tiles into. Alright, so that's how it goes. Okay, so you can move the crate to the back and have Lama Su drive the maintenance cart as a maintenance cart. But when you're ready to dock the ship, you can move the crate back here, raise it up like this, and then it shows the ship is supposed to slot into the front here, and then, oh yeah, that's a cool look, and then you can put the little wing straight like that. So you can have it, you can have the ship up in its flight position like this. I'm not sure which look is better for display. It's the same shape, just in different orientations. But if you have it facing straight out like this, from head on, the front part of the ship blocks the view of the stand. And it almost looks like it's flying right at you. That's pretty cool. And then, if you just want to put it in landing position, you can take it off and put it down like that. Now, let's it also shows this little technic bit at the back. You can it shows you gripping it by it, but so yeah, you can hold it from that little technic bit at the back like a handle, and now you don't have to hold it around the neck of the ship. You can actually make it look like it's flying. And that goes right back inside, and then okay, here's where we make the bombs. And it says we're supposed to make 2 copies of the bomb. It's very simple. We just have these transparent yellow plates on tiles on either end of an unprinted gray minifigure head. That's the little bomb. Okay, so it shows where are we supposed to, so it's so we open this little flap here. And it shows the 2 bombs going inside like this. But it also shows you're supposed to be able to close. Yeah, we got it closed. So I got the 2 bombs inside. So it looks like if you open, yeah, if you open that panel from the bottom, it drops the bombs. One of which just went on the floor. So let me go retrieve that real quick. The problem with the bombs is they're rolly bits, and that one went somewhere. Now I did see where that piece fell. Excuse me a moment. Okay. So the bombs load up in there. And then the trapdoor opens and they fall out the bottom. So I don't see where the other bomb went. There it is. I do see where it went. Hold on. Okay, let's finish up the stream. So it may actually be easier to load the bombs from the bottom, maybe. If we open up the flap from the bottom here, yeah, we can just drop those bombs in. And then I should be able to close it. So the bombs are loaded, but the back door is pretty secure, so we shouldn't have any more issues with them for the rest of the night. And then it shows 8 of these tile shots for the stud shooter. Unfortunately, they're flat tiles and not studs, so I can't make neat ammo stacks. I'll just have to put them in the storage bag loose. And I have a couple pieces sitting out that aren't usually considered spare bits. So I probably missed a step somewhere. So I've set aside my stud shooter shots for later so I can put them away properly. And the grill piece and little white tiles aren't usually given to you as extras. So I need to see where I forgot a step. I see where it is. They're here on the little thing. So yeah, actually, the pilot is supposed to be up here in the front section, so you don't have to move the crate. So I could put Lama Su, and of course Lama Su would never pilot one of these things on his own, because he's the Prime Minister. He's above that work. But being as he's the only spare figure who doesn't actually part of piloting the ship, he can pilot the cart for purposes of right now just putting it all together once again. So and then of course you raise this and how did it go again? And of course, so it's facing away, so you won't even see Lama Su if you have it on display with him as the pilot. But pretty cool to see him actually out there in the cloning lab getting his or out there in the transportation area getting his hands dirty, because you don't usually see that from government officials. They don't usually participate in the hands-on work. So yeah, at this point we are officially done building. Here's the advertisement pages. You can see this the Clone Wars battle pack. You see next to the Firespray, next to Jango Fett Starship, you can see a Clone Wars battle pack. That set has developed a reputation because it's way overpriced. All of these sets are, but that one more so. It's the first $50 battle pack. So, and then you have the K2SO. We have the K2SO minifigure. He came in the U-wing. I haven't done any of these Star Wars statue sets though. So there's the Clone Wars MTT. They've done MTTs in the past, but always in Trade Federation brown. This is the first MTT in the Separatist blue and gray color scheme. We have Battle Droid on stat. We have the Clone Turbo Tank. The V Torrent, I think. The Fire Snowspeeder, which I have in the buildable Ewok. And that's all the sets that came out with this one. Oh, and there was also a UCS ATST, which looks really good. But if I'm going to get a UTST, I would get one of the play scale ones, because they're easier to display with my limited space. But yeah, I think for the exit scene, I like having it like this, with it up in flight mode. So that's easy. I just turned the instructions off so we can set up the exit scene. We no longer need the brick separator because the build is done, so I'll set that aside. Let's see who we're rating, and then I'll put the other figures. I'll put the other figures around the ship. Who are we rating? So Brett is on tonight, friend of the channel. So there's no question who we're getting ready to raid. But first, let's put up the figures. So yeah, that's pretty clever, having a display stand disguised as a maintenance cart. And I don't think those tiles are going to fit in the little crate, so I'm not even going to try for that. But one last look at the maintenance cart. And now I'll put the ship on it. The bombs are safely inside. I think for display purposes, I'll probably disarm them and keep them in the bag with the instructions. So we'll put Jango right up front, in front of his ship, and we'll flank him with his two sidekicks for this set. Lama Su, and of course, Kid Boba. And yeah, that looks good. Let's pull back the camera a little bit carefully so that I can pull out the keyboard and type in the raid. And with that pulled out, let's move everything closer to the camera. Actually, I don't normally do this because there's usually a lot more minifigures at the end, but let's take one more look at the minifigures and the camera before I raid out. So here's Lama Su. And of course the other Kaminoan minifigure is Taun Wei. And I'm not sure if I'm going to get that set or not. Although it might be cool to do a dual stream with the Obi-Wan Starfighter and the Ahsoka Starfighter. Jango Fett, the highlight of the set. Kid Boba Fett. And you know what? Since I shut him off at the beginning of the stream, and he probably won't appear on stream again, unless I do like a Tatooine special at some point or something. Let's bring back the Rancor, the most expensive Star Wars figure in my collection. And with that, let's raid out. We're raiding Brett tonight. It looks like he's playing something called L.A. Noire, which is a police game, I think. He on Saturdays he streams with his friend Unbalanced, and that's one of the games that they do together. So I'm assuming it's both of them tonight. So we're gonna raid out to Brett. Have a good rest of your weekend, and I'll be back on either Monday or Tuesday for my end of summer variety Lego stream, and then I'll probably start some gaming next week as well. Have a good night, and I will see you soon. Have a good night. See you soon.
From Dr. Brothers. The more game cartridges a video game system plays, the more fun it is. And the Atari 7800 plays more games than the competition, and they're about half the price. Super games like Ball Blazer, one-on-one basketball, summer games, winter games, Karateka, Hat Trick, Impossible Mission, arcade classics like Pole Position, Centipede, Seedings, Deluxe Asteroids, Ms. Pac-Man, Joust, Galaga, Choplifter, Robotron 2084, all 2600 games like Solaris, Midnight Magic, Football, Kung Fu Master, Move Patrol. The Atari 7800, more games at about half the price.